All right, I am both excited and terrified about the next part, and I've been reading about this part and sort of looking forward to it in a weird masochistic sort of way since before I even bought the kit. And that is rolling or curving this little bit of the skin where it transitions from side to bottom. I know it's difficult, and it's a spot that can really, I think, distinguish a good build from, you know, maybe not so good build. I'm gonna start measuring it out and getting ready to make this curve, and I guess just get into it. Okay, I got this lined up and marked out. This area is gonna have to remain flat. That's where it's gonna get clecoed and riveted to the underside of the plane. This area should also remain flat. It is the side of the plane. This zone in here is where this 90-degree bend is gonna take place. It's gonna be tight down here. It's gonna be nice and round up here. I've taken the bar from that cheap bending brake I bought a while back, and I think it's gonna make an excellent item to clamp right on this line to help me form this bend, especially down here. But really, it's making sure the side stays flat. I have a nice big chunk of aluminum, and it's gonna get clecoed up here, like such. And I'm contemplating also putting one on the underside so that the skin is basically sandwiched. And the idea is we'll take this with some clamps and pliers and just bend it up. However, one thing that we're gonna have to do is when this bends to that 90 is there's an area of this that is gonna be in the way. So we're gonna first take that off on the bandsaw. I think we're ready. There's one thing I remember from the leading edges of control surfaces, it's that they suck. Sorry, I had to get that in. But if there's another thing I remember, it's that you actually do have a lot of ability to form this metal with your hands. Now, your thumbs get incredibly sore, but you can really massage the metal into place. All right, round 2. I gotta admit, I didn't really expect to get this first try, but it's fitting great. It's the clecos are a little hard to get in. I mean, in some of these spots, we got like 3 or 4 layers of skins, even maybe 5 bulkhead stiffeners that we're going through, and so it's hard to get it in there. But with a few additional clecos than I'm normally used to, it fits nice. Now, I had this thing really buttoned up along this seam here, and with this extra bent layer, it's starting to open up right down around here, just a hair. I'm not super excited about that, but it's also not gonna break my heart. I might see if that's kind of normal. But yeah, this looks fantastic. Now I just gotta evaluate if I have the energy to do that all over again, and I think I do. I think I do. So you might have noticed I got a little distracted and started grinding on my back riveting plate, and you might be thinking, what gives? Looking at the other skin, the bending brake bar that I use has a real sharp angle, and that's to give you a real sharp bend. And I thought, great, we need a real sharp bend. Except we don't. While it seems like this is a real sharp bend down here, it's certainly sharp for anything we've bent to date. It actually has like a 1/8 or 1/4 inch, probably 1/8 inch radius to it. And so I gave that same approximate radius to the backside of my back riveting plate here, thinking it might help us form a little more gradual bend at that point. I'm happy with this. I think it's about 90% there. And it could use some fine tuning, but luckily we will have an opportunity to do that when I pull it off for dimpling, deburring, and all that fun stuff. We can improve this curve here a little bit, but overall, fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted to see. And with that, it's time for me to take a quick break. I'll be back at it tomorrow, but some rest would be nice. Time to clamp some longerons. I just bought the local Home Depot out of their cute little 1-inch C-clamps. And we're gonna get this thing positioned from the aft forward and start drilling. Exciting stuff. Now, ideally, these would have been cut to length when we cut the whole pieces to length. I'm not exactly sure why I'm having to cut them now. Perhaps there's some unpredictability in how all this goes together. In fact, maybe that's why mine are 1/4 inch long in the first place. Regardless, I gotta take a 1/4 inch off each side.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my shoes off.
Hanging the firewall is a huge deal for this project, and I'm really excited to have some special help for the process. Meet my father. He was very eager to come help with the project, though he wasn't very excited about the fact that it's all being posted on YouTube. So this should...
This goes inside?
Inside, yeah, it seems a little weird, but goes inside. And then...
Seems weird.
But it's on the inside? Oh, alright. So what you want to do is put a clamp right here on your side. Doesn't have to be perfect, we're going to start moving it around, but let's get it attached.
Like right here?
Yeah, I've got it held, so you don't have to worry about holding it. Yep, that's perfect. And then... Right in here. Need some Cleco pliers, so just set it like this. Grab some Cleco pliers.
Wow.
Alright, I don't really know what the instructions were trying to tell me, so we kind of just went head first into this, thinking it would make sense once we got it on the plane, and it does. That center line that we made is now visible through the center holes in this bottom skin, which is aligned by the rest of the holes that we've Clecoed it into. We're judging distance fore and aft by measuring the distance from the face of the firewall to the lip of this skin, which coincidentally is pretty much having this flange flush with the skin. Now, The only thing that I'm unsure of is if we continue that flange being flush with the skins all the way around, or if I need to adjust the top, in this case the bottom, of this as well. So I'm going to do some reading on that before we drill any holes that will basically make the positioning of this firewall permanent. This is cool. This is cool stuff here. Well, I've got this weldment clamped, which is got the same twist as the longer on, and it all looks great. I'm really close on the front here, despite having cut off a little bit to have that be exactly 3/4 of an inch. I wish I would have taken a little bit more. The instructions do state that you can be over 3/4 of an inch away from the front of the skin. All said, I think we're really close to having this firewall positioned where it needs to be. So ultimately the 3/4 inch dimension I felt was a little too close. This longeron was infringing on that weldment and preventing me from getting everything snug and flush. So I went ahead, I took just a hair more off. You can see here we still have plenty of edge distance from this forwardmost rivet hole. That should allow plenty of room for me to get everything clamped in place. So back together with all these parts, and we'll see if I can get it to fit this time. So as I thought, once we have everything clamped in place the second time, things A, are lining up much better, and B, the instructions are making a little more sense. I have the lines now drawn that they talked about down the center of the angle here, and those are lining up perfectly with the row of rivets. So from here, it's time to drill this thing into place. The holes I'm drilling here attach the firewall and the weldment to the longeron, basically a link in the structural chain that keeps the motor attached to the plane. It was all that careful adjustment of the longerons and the careful positioning of the firewall that allowed these holes to punch through that weldment exactly where they need to be, proper edge distance and all. Careful work really paid off. Alright, now I have some cowl attach brackets and shims to go ahead and get match drilled in here as well. So this is Bob. He's the one that's been marginally successful at dodging the camera. Most of the time. You, of course, are my dad. You're the reason why I'm into airplanes.
I'm responsible.
You're responsible. If you had gotten me into knitting, this would be an entirely different channel and a lot less fun. But here we are. And so, I wanted to introduce you. More of that awkward exchange at the end of the episode. You're not going to want to miss it. But first, some landing gear. All right, believe it or not, this is the landing gear, or part of the landing gear. And right now it's all about making provisions for where it exits the fuselage. So the first step is to actually grind down on this spar flange and skin, which has been a bit of a trick. A lot of fitting, refitting, fitting, refitting. Grinding and adjusting. But I finally got it cleared out. I'm gonna mirror that for the other side, and then we've got to figure out how to make sort of this elliptical hole in the main skin, forward bottom fuselage skin. So that'll be another trick all in itself. Now there is one rivet here that we've lost all edge distance on, and apparently that's common, but it is not going to be easy to set in a manner that keeps and maintains that clearance from all these welds within this weldment. I'm anticipating a lot of swearing off camera on that one. I also wanted to show you something, because you're the one responsible. Mm-hmm. This is, I just got this back from the FAA, and this is my reservation for an N number.
Oh wow.
And I wanted to dedicate it to you. You see what the N number is?
No.
My birthday.
Thank you.
Your initials.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
What do you think?
I love it.
Okay. So my plane officially does have an N number. I'll share it at some point, but I just wanted to have a small dedication to my father in this, and I'm happy he could come up and help with the plane. And with that, let's keep working. Don't worry, if you didn't look it, I assure you my dad was overwhelmed, or at least mildly whelmed. I'm really excited. We got the firewall fitted. The freaking firewall is on. The bottom skin, this thing now has skins pretty much from tip to tail on the bottom side, which is a huge milestone. We got holes for landing gear. It's got legs now. I feel like I got a whole lot done, but I'm not going to stop there. Next time, we're going to get all the structure that keeps all this together up front put in, and there's a lot to make. There's additional longerons, there's brackets for fuel tanks. It's really advanced stuff. Once we get that done, we're gonna be putting in some rudder pedals, believe it or not. And then, like I mentioned before, I am blown away because all of this has to come apart. We have to prep all this, and we have to get it ready to prime, and then I gotta put it all together again. It's gonna be really exciting to see it come together for the final time, but it's daunting to think that all of this has to come completely back apart. I'm still in disbelief that I've come this far, and we're gonna break it all back down to just the tail section and a bunch of parts, man. If you wanna see that, you gotta subscribe. You gotta keep tuning in. You gotta keep watching and commenting because I love it when you do. And until then, thank you for watching this one. I really want to give a shout out to some folks who have sent me wonderful messages, encouraging messages of support. They've been telling people about the videos. I love it. Keep sharing, keep it up. We'll catch you next time on Ryan Flies. Thanks a lot.